Guys, welcome to Wolf Web 3's podcast. I'm Cade. I'm the host and voice behind Wolf Web 3. And we have Charlie here, the COO of Wolf Financial. And we have Lucas here from ExoWorlds. We're super excited to chat. I hope everyone's doing well today. If you haven't already, hit the like button, retweet the video. Can't wait to get into it. I'd love to throw it over to Charlie, though, to kick us off.
I'd love to know a little bit about you, Lucas, like your background, how you got into gaming, like how you fell in love with it, kind of build, your world up as far as who you are, and let's go into the game after that and kind of, dissect.
Yeah. Okay, well, hey guys, my name is Lucas St. Laurent.
Yeah.
I am Brazilian American. I basically lived all around the world growing up, so I consider myself basically, I'm American Brazilian, but I'm kind of from Sweden, Bangladesh, Vietnam. I did a lot of traveling when I was a kid, and one of the things that stayed constant with me traveling was video games. We were on an awesome vacation. My dad was, he was working 24/7, took us to Thailand, which was like a 2-hour drive from Dhaka when we were living. My brother and I basically we hold ourselves up for like 2 days straight in the hotel room playing zombies when it first came out. That was our experience gaming. Like basically parents, hey guys, get outside, it's wonderful. Nah, we're trying to get some cheats for this map here on zombies. So basically my brother and I, we're huge gamers, and we've gamed throughout our lives, and being in an indie game studio now, it's a dream, honestly, dream come true.
Okay, so as far as like working with it, do you prefer working with a smaller studio than a bigger studio, do you think? I noticed for me, pivoting and being able to actually move the needle on a daily basis was more important than being a part of something bigger than myself. So I don't know that world at all. Maybe you can open that up, what that's like working with a small gaming community.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. And do you mean a community or firm? Because I have ideas on both.
Firm.
Okay, firm. I mean, yeah, it's great. We did initially go to some bigger firms so that they could kind of carry the game development part of it. We ended up doing everything in-house. And honestly, now, at first, when you outsource, it's great because you get immediate results. The team, they have technology already packed up. They've created tools that they can reuse, and that gives you a huge head start. They're organized. They got the whole maturity of a game company for hire. But once you get over the hump of building your tools, building the technology, and then, like you said, you're in the driver's seat, you get to move the needle. It's incredibly rewarding, and it allows for us to be, I think, more in touch with our community, or at least more responsive to their feedback and any requests.
I could totally see that. Wow.
But boys, they're a hump to get over. It's mind numbing. In 2024, how many things you have to build anew in gaming, it baffles me. But the industry is still maturing.
Yeah, actually, I was going to jump in real quick on something you just said there. The last gaming bull market was nuts, and there had been games before, but really the big narratives I had heard was from Star Atlas and from Axie Infinity. Those were really taking up most of the market share as far as like, what are the games? What do we copy? Like, who was doing it? Those are the big names we heard from. So things have changed since then. A lot of games have come out. Some games have been building for 3-4 years. Some are just coming out now. But either way, there's a lot more to look back on now. So what has kind of changed, do you think? And then what's gotten easier, maybe what's gotten harder?
Honestly, you touch on a huge thing, Axie Infinity. I would say the market is what's changed. Unreal Engine releasing 5. I mean, when I started this project, and we did a NFT collection at first. It was 10,000 procedurally generated in Blender planets. Some had mother planets. They're like moons to their mother planets. I mean, the whole thing was so dynamic. It took us like almost 2 months to render it. And
oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was crazy. 5K.
That's insane that you just said that. 2 months to render it. How'd you get the compute?
I mean, honestly, we got 4 computers. We used a couple of devs' computers overnight. Like it was a whole thing.
Gosh.
We hashed out, 10,000. We hashed out a couple. Some guy was just, he was rendering like 200 planets over the course of a week because of his computer. but that's, we blocked everything out, and then it took us 2 months to get everything. We did that with real care. I wanted to differentiate our product, and it was awesome. But back then, Unreal Engine 4 was out. So 3 months later, 4 months later, just as I'm kind of, trying to prove the project after the mint, we did a $1.4 million sellout within hours, within a day of the mint. Yeah. And I needed to prove myself. So when Unreal Engine 5 came out, I mean, that was such a game changer. And
you're let's do it again.
Yeah. And they're doing Unreal Engine 5.4 just came out. We're going to upgrade to it. We're on 5.2. We're going to upgrade to it. And they have like procedural animations, like 500 locomotion animations for parkour, jumping, vaulting. It's like, so I would say the game industry is changing, the crypto market is changing, and the direction of the company itself changes from time to time, depending on what people want, what's feasible. So, the market changing, I think one of the big ones was dealing with Axie Infinity. We saw a lot of this kind of play to earn model. Basically, you're divesting your coin as a marketing expense, and you're just buying user, and you're farming that time from them in exchange for the tokens you for free. That model didn't work out, and it melted Axie Infinity for a bit. So I think that the lessons that we're learning, that landscape is changing as well.
What do you guys think you did to kind of circumvent that? Because to be honest, like, we've had these conversations in the gaming spaces all the time, and that's like the God's honest truth. No, I'm a stickler for this. I love video games, dude. I literally, I said it earlier before we were recording. So a lot of times what they're doing in Web3 communities is that they're farming attention. That's really the goal here. It's the same as Facebook. Facebook, you get attention, you farm it, and then from that attention, you get rewards by watching videos, or you get things that you like, and the reward for the other person is that they get to monetize you. It's the same thing for the gaming community right now. The more attention that they get from you, the more that they can monetize you. And what they're monetizing is the VC funding by having daily active users and monthly active users, and they're going to rounds and then raising. So I guess from your guys is kind of seeing what happened, how are you going to tackle that new way, you think, and kind of have like a daily active user and a monthly active user that's not so farming oriented? Or are you going that route? Because inherently, if it's right, like, this goes back to our conversation before the call, Lucas, but with RuneScape, even people were farming gold on RuneScape eons before and selling that on eBay, and dude, they're making a lot of money as kids. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If you put sweat into it, that's proof of work, dude. That's Bitcoin to some extent. There's nothing wrong with you having monetary benefit from your work. So I don't know, what's your guys' model there? And your thoughts, I guess.
I think that if it's a healthy part of a sustainable ecosystem of activities and interests, I think it's great. Like, we're going to participate in giveaways. We're going to participate in a little bit of play to earn. Later down the line, when we talk about the tokenomics, we've got a great vehicle for differentiating rewards and smart assets and things like that. So I do think that there's a healthy amount to be done there, because people want incentives, but the largest part of that pie has got to be sustainable tokenomics, or else you will burn out, and people are hoping, or at least, if you have a short-term memory, it's great, but 6 years out, you have a meltdown,
Very cool. I guess also for anybody who's listening right now, can you break the game down just by genre? Because I'm thinking it could be nice for them if they're not seeing it. Whether it's top-down, MMO, shooter, RPG, kind of the stylization, break down the game a little bit. And then maybe we can get into some of the details on blockchain choices and tokenomics and all that stuff.
No, that's great. So we're a sci-fi shooter / MMORPG. I say / because it's in development. We're building a base through this arena experience. But we also have a little bit of an RTS experience, because we have, so all our NFTs are actual planets in the galaxy, this fictitious galaxy, 150,000 light years wide. So you got these planets, they're floating around in space. We just did the closed beta launch, so beta testers are going to be able to see their planets. It's a really cool interface. really awesome star map. And you'll be able to connect planets, form empires, make alliances. You know, we're building up a kind of real-time strategy base, something very simple. Like, you know, I like to start from simple and grow in complexity. So if we get like a little Farmville going on between the planets, you know, you have a volcanic rich in minerals, I have a tropical rich in biologicals needed for your gene therapies, and I need that for my space elevators. Kind of that kind of experience. And the shooter is both first person and third person, true first person.
Interesting. Wow, you can just switch viewpoints?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's one of the things I
Very
really
cool.
wanted to get done from the get-go. And I mean, this is a little far out, but I really want to have one of the first Web3 split screen shooter games offline. That would be fantastic. But it's a dream.
100%. Well, I think that goes back to the roots.
Yeah.
They kind of abandoned this somewhere along the line with the PS5 and Xbox One, and they're like, oh well, let's not do multiplayer anymore on the same console. And I was like, dude, why would they do? Why? It is so sad. Why would they do this? So that's kind of long-term goals for you guys. You'd love to kind of bring back the. Okay, very cool.
Very cool. Totally, man, totally. I mean, that's what I did with my brother. That's how I fell in love with gaming, and so much. Literally, a chunk of my brotherhood is, you know, split screen couch co-op.
Dude, 100%. How many is in the team that you guys? How long have you been working on this?
So in the game development, we got 6 people, if you include me, part-time environment designer, part-time UI designer, and we've got 2 people on the blockchain, the Web3 part, web and blockchain. We've got 2 people in the marketing, and we've got William and myself. So a small team. Honestly, I'm really happy with the team we've gotten. Getting the right team is so difficult. We've cycled through 4 different teams, and we finally found a close-knit network of developers that knew each other's styles, and could therefore sync up really smoothly. So I'm really happy with that.
And how long do you think you'll be in this beta phase for before you kind of get into where you're mass releasing this thing?
Okay, well, I mean, I don't want to get in trouble with my marketing department, but the open beta, we really want to release in Q2 of this year, and 2025 for a full release. But then you ask me, what is a full release? So, you know, I really want to have open world environments in the planets. Yep. Which we're working on right now, actually. For people who don't know some of the benefits of Unreal Engine 5, they came out with this thing called PCG, Procedural Content Generator, and it is literally wonders with procedural content. So we're basically we're piggybacking off of basically millions of dollars worth of procedural research, development, you know, all of that from Epic Games. Whereas so many like multi-$100-million studios have to build their own or are working with Unreal Engine 4 or Unreal Engine 5.1. I'm pretty happy that we caught on to it when we did. But open world environments where you can kind of have honestly like a Helldivers experience. But instead of focused everybody on one planet, you got the whole galaxy, you got different factions. People can win missions for their factions and stuff like that. So when we have a little bit of that RPG element, and you can play people in arenas like, you know, shooter mode like we have now, I think that's going to be a much fuller experience. And I think at the end of 2025 we could see a full release.
Got it. So you've got an element of the game that's RTS style where there's going to be some type of farming, a little bit slower mechanics, and then there's a part that's like shooter. So how do those coincide, and how do they play together within the game to kind of to bridge that gap on, I guess from coming from a Halo background, like I jump into a game to play a shooter, and then RTS is really involved in that world. And I guess I'm wondering how you meshed them. Yeah,
exactly. Well, I want the gameplay ultimately isn't going to be RTS. It isn't going to be shooter. It isn't going to be RPG. It is just going to be a sci-fi, kind of action sim. You're going to be able to step into arenas and do your thing. You're going to be like an RPG character with all of those shooter qualities. And the planets themselves, I mean, I want there to be permanence. I want there to be factions. I want there to be wars. I want there to be alliances. And I want people to be able to, like Helldivers, take a look at the galaxy and make strategic decisions and have the permanence of those decisions carried out in first person or in third person play out back into the galaxy, kind of mode, to kind of the whole thing just baked as one. So that's what we're aiming for. And if we do a good job with transitions, going from the star map to the planet, going from the orbit to landing, if we can create a convincing experience with the technologies that are emerging now, frame rate boosters and things like that, I think that it will stop being any one of those three and an emergent mix of all three of them. RPG, shooter, and RTS.
Interesting. I kind of see where you're going with this. As the tech starts to come out more and more, you had a single as a shooter because really you couldn't put a world builder in it because that's an entirely different game. But as this is built out, you can put them in the same place because you can have a shooter environment, but at the same time, you have enough energy and enough ability to be able to build out worlds at the same time.
Yeah. And the procedural content generator is awesome because it's not only meshes or objects that you can procedurally spread out, it's also blueprints. So if you have like a survival blueprint, if you have a zombie blueprint, you can basically just proceduralize that whole thing over a planet, over a moon, or whatever. So the technology, it's all coming to a point, I think.
Wow, very cool. Great job. Yeah. As far as gameplay, I think that's covered, from kind of the gaming side. That's the interest. So I don't know if, Cade, you want to go into some of the smaller details and kind of break those down. I'd love to hear from kind of the blockchain side and how that's working.
Yeah, actually, I was very interested in this question. So you guys have gone over to Elysium. What makes this kind of like the premier gaming blockchain when there's other options? Like I've heard people mention AVAX, Polygon, Solana. What made you guys go with Elysium?
So I think Elysium was a great choice. One of the things that I've learned, and this kind of comes back to a little bit of my upbringing and my family. My grandfather, he's a great mentor. He's a businessman. He always told me it's better to be a big fish in a smaller pond than be the same size, small fish in a large ocean. So that's why we went with VeChain, and we had huge success. We got a great community, really tight-knit. We didn't get diluted in the vastness of Binance or any of that. And so when we were looking to, move from VeChain, which has a sustainable kind of value alignment, that's what they're really targeting now. And they have, not shifted, I'd say, but made more of a focus on sustainability. And as we saw that, and we saw, hey, listen, we do plant trees. We are trying to get to carbon neutral gaming, which is really cool as a concept. But we need to move to somewhere where they are really gamers. They got the community. And actually, Elysium, the team behind Elysium, behind Vulcan, they actually were operating in the VeChain before they started to do their own thing. So naturally, we reached out to them. They're growing, they're adding games, they're in what they call an acquisition period. We're part of that. They had a really awesome, I think it was $2.5 million launchpad success with Rebel Cars. It's they did an IDO with them. They do racing, and it's a game that they're launching now. So they're acquiring new games, and I think that by not going to Binance or Polygon or AVAX Gaming, as you mentioned, I think we have a better relationship, a tighter relationship, and more traction.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Charlie.
No, I was going to say, I could see, we've spoke to AVAX Gaming and some of those chains, and like the more saturation there is for different companies, I'm sure there's an opportunity for there to be less attention, and that's from user base, and that's also from the companies and the chains themselves. And I'm sure you guys building on a chain and actually having some attention from the chain and not being, the 86th game that's built on there, the 500th game on there, I'm sure that gives you a little bit of a special relationship to be able to iterate and innovate faster. So I could definitely see some win conditions there.
It could go both ways, right? It's not like a magic sauce, but it's worked for us.
Yeah, totally.
True. Yeah, I was gonna so just diving into more of the mechanics side of here, and also maybe even the tokenomics reward side that I know everybody loves. Well, half the people love it, half the people hate it. Or our gaming conversations, Charlie. Literally every time
Wait,
we
wait,
can't
whoa,
avoid it.
whoa. Dude, do you think I can't avoid it?
I don't think you want to not avoid it.
Okay, you're
It's
right. You're
fine
right.
though. It
You're
doesn't.
right.
It does. I mean, it's whatever. I'm into it. So, anyways, so talk to me about. So there are multiple aspects to the game, as well
Mhm.
as both. Like you can have a staking aspect of it and a tokenomic side and a rewards
Yeah.
aspect, as well as something that's really fun. So, what are you hoping that people focus on as like a main feature that people can spend most of their time on that may also have some really cool degen opportunities?
Yeah. So, I mean, can I give a breakdown of the tokenomics first as a lead into that?
Please,
Um,
please.
So basically, we've got a two token system that we took inspiration from VeChain. They started this two token system so that the utility token that's behind the transactions, isn't the main value token, and therefore traffic and congestion don't affect the principal asset. So there's this division of functionality and benefit, and so we kind of took that and we converted it to our own gaming ecosystem. We have ExoDust, which is the smart token. It's also a governance token. It's used for high level stuff in the game too, like really big things you're going to use Exo with. And then we also have Galactic Credits, or for short, G Creds. And Galactic Credits, they're like in Fortnite, they're like gold. They're the thing that you play to earn. They're not so much the principal asset, and they're inflationary, whereas Exodust is not. So Exodust,
Mm.
it's got a max cap, and Gcred you can kind of just earn as you go. There is no max cap. But to counter that, we want to have great burns. We want to have people spending those galactic credits as soon as they accumulate enough. They want to use it to boost something, or they want to use it to put a shine on their coat or their armor or whatever it is. And I've got to stress, we're not a play to win game. I think that the RPG side definitely will have some kind of trickle down of the items that you can get. But in terms of the arena battles where you compete and you earn and you can stake on your matches, like stake $5, winner
You can
takes
stake
all.
on your matches?
Oh yeah, man. That's actually the one of the most things I'm most excited about. When you say
That's legit.
reward, yeah, that's it, man. That's it. And there's an affiliate marketing thing. But in terms of earning, you can earn passively a little bit by going through the biomes. So there's two things I'm excited for. The biomes. Those are open world biomes for all of the 8 different planet types that we have: volcanic, desert, ocean, whatever you have. And you can it's kind of like a safari experience. You can bump into oppressive droids, or you can bump into beasts, and you can kind of take it down. We're thinking about adding inventory and submissions and stuff, and you can earn passively some galactic credits. But I think where it's really at is what we've coined compete to earn. And that's when you get in an arena, you stake, 5,000 exo, 10,000 exo, whatever, depending on what you want to do. You invite people over, they stake as well, and winner takes all. We take a cut, and maybe 5%, something like this. And then what's the exciting part is we're going to start an affiliate marketing program where, with a QR code or whatever have you, whatever paying customer that you bring to ExoWorlds. So let's say you bring 100 people for a battle royale of 100 people. They each stake $5. That's $500 staked on the match. Well, if they were all brought in through your QR code, you make 5% of that. You make 25.
So sick.
Yeah, so we're developing that. I haven't seen a lot of people talking about that or doing that. I hope we're the first, but if we're not, we're going to knock it out of the park.
Dang. What was the idea behind staking on matches? To be honest, I've been thinking about this for a really long time. That being able to bet inherently on gaming stuff is just sick, dude. It's cool.
Yeah.
But what was the idea behind that? Can you open that up a little bit? I don't mean to derail it, but I definitely think you've got something that's. Can you do that right now? Can you stake in the game?
No. Right now.
Okay. It's going to be huge.
It really will be, and we want it to be happening by the open, so Q2 of this year, before the end of the summer, maybe end of June, maybe end of July, to have that happening with the affiliate marketing, so people actually get rewarded for bringing tournament players. I mean, that is going to be awesome, and so I want to delineate. I don't think it's so much betting as it is, like, we'll call it staking, because spectators won't be allowed to bet. There's so much regulation.
I see.
That's betting because it's other people's skill. But you can stake on your own performance, and that's a slightly different animal.
Okay. Got it. Still sick, though. Amazing.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I'll keep the door open. ExoWorlds is up for expanding into any legal opportunities that present themselves. If we get the right accreditation, we get the right licenses. I mean, oh my gosh, I would love it. Even if we have to only operate in certain countries, it would be incredible. Yeah.
No, this is please.
Can I ask a question about, so we did get a little bit of a deep dive into the gameplay as well as some of the tokenomics stuff. And by the way, I'm going to pop up some of the game footage that was on your website during the earlier bit. I do want to ask a little bit about the mythology side of it that I was scrolling through. I see there's a bit of lore, which is very important. I always like to lean into the lore. I did a ton of Web3 project reviews, especially games back in the day. And I was like, man, you guys have no like branding, like what? There's no story here. Like, there's no way to go deeper if you wanted to. And so talk to us a little bit about the mythology and the thinking behind it.
Man, so after we made the NFT planets, I basically watched sci-fi like 24/7. Anytime I was watching TV, it was sci-fi. And I told everybody in the company, anything you watch, it better be sci-fi. Watch 10 minutes, it better be a YouTube video on a Star Trek, episode. But so then I just allowed that to kind of, I'd been doing like 8 months of procedural work, layering stuff. So I kind of just got into this absorption period where I just started letting ideas kind of sift through there, getting ready for the combination machine. And I would say Star Trek, Star Wars, Dune. Oh my gosh. Dune was awesome.
Don't even.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan. I think he incredible visionary for making a sci-fi universe without robots in a time where robots were the fad. I mean,
dude, huge. No, me and my wife love Dune. So no, sorry. Please keep going.
No worries. So I took a little inspiration from everybody. We do have, like, in terms of Herbert, we do have like a period, because he describes this awkward phase between civilizations where you're not at the speed of light in terms, you're at the speed of light in terms of movement and communication, but you're not beyond that. So it takes 1,000 years for information to get across. The lack of symmetry, for lack of a better word, it's a civilization killer, and factions form, wars break out, and in Dune they had this 100,000, this crazy period of darkness where there are regional warlords throughout the galaxy. So I kind of got a little nitty gritty with the lore of ExoWorlds, because we're this sci-fi project of civilization spanning 10,000 systems across the galaxy. I brought it to from the beginning, like the start of life to the emergence of life and emergence of sentience. And so there's this kind of like almanac or like galactic Wikipedia kind of at the beginning, where it just describes the general trend of emergent life. And I think the central part of the lore is that life didn't just produce itself randomly. It's actually the second instantiation of a reboot that happened because of some calamity that we have no idea what it is. And so, I mean, spoiler, but not so spoiler, it's interdimensional in nature. And the lore gets into the sci-fi fantasy, because what I realized, if you look at Star Wars, if you look at even Dune, you look at their props, and their props are like, that's a tube that you can find in my garage in terms of Star Wars, or that's a flip switch. They wouldn't they do touchscreen or neural? And so when I was thinking about what kind of universe I want, what kind of aesthetic I want, it's going to be indistinguishable from Magic. So that's what I'm kind of aiming for in terms of lore, aesthetic. And so that's where we're at. We're in a galaxy where there's been a galactic unification, there's been a fall, and now this federation that's come up. And I'm thinking about calling it a confederation, because federations are a decentralized network, whereas federations are centralized. And the whole thing about the fall is that somebody obviously got too much power. There's a unification, and it became tyrannical. So let's see about that. But yeah, we're in this kind of second reboot of life, and we're in the second reboot within this life of an intergalactic civilization. So that's, in a nutshell, the mythology.
Wow.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
Sorry if that was too much.
No, dude. Yeah, not at all. The story tells. I was watching some lady on YouTube, and she was talking about YouTube Shorts, and she said the trick to a short, you'd think it would just be cut content. She said, but it's the story, and it's the same with YouTube content. Like, people attach to stories. And I was a little different. I literally just played competitively. If I wasn't beating somebody, I wasn't feeling good about it. I don't know if that says something about me, but no, for a lot of it, the story is really what people attach to. My wife is 13 books into Dune. I mean, we are fanatics. So as far as you world building, I think it's awesome, dude. Really, really cool.
Thanks, man. I mean, I have two things to say. One, Dune related. The other one is AI. I think that with enough original content from our own writers and a mixture of AI, I see us having procedural histories, procedural dialogue, procedural causal, chains. And that's going to be really interesting. Like have a, whatever, if we use a ChatGPT, what are those API? Or if we run some kind of a local mini trained, super concentrated data set, be cool to have dialogue that's procedurally generated in one quadrant affect potentially somebody in the same faction across. So we're going to be able to see for the first time, I think, stories in RPGs this vast, whereas before they were disconnected. They can really form something.
I want to say something, but I don't want to derail too much and go down. But I've been thinking this, like, AI in games is going to be the next big thing, because as you start being able to build out a world live in accordance to the player base, not to the original inception, you've changed the game entirely. So please, sorry, Kate.
No, that's it. By the way, did you know Paul Stamets was a friend of Frank Herbert?
Paul Stamets. Who's Paul Stamets?
The mushroom guy?
Yeah, he was on Joe Rogan, and he was talking about this story about the whole the water of life and that blue liquid. Check it out sometime. It's this cool thing. Paul Stamets said that he knew Frank, and he has some insights into the weird little things that, like, as a viewer, as a fan, even as a book fan, you wouldn't know unless you knew about this little relationship. Check it out. It was mind blowing.
Paul Stamets is quite the character.
Quite the character. Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
Charlie, I'm like a podcast fiend, so like I've gone down every single rabbit hole there is to exist, and once we've gone down enough, we finally hit Paul Stamets.
Like, I've been in some seedy spots, dude, in the podcast world.
It's been bad, dude. I've been down.
Academics. You get a podcast, extremist, and they'll talk knowledge.
I've seen some things.
Let me ask this about the content side. So you brought in the AI side. A lot of the content output might be really, really interesting from you, especially as AI comes out. But as far as like organic content, maybe community content, gameplay content and stuff like that, are you looking to have that come out from the community at all? You guys sourcing for that at all? Because we have quite a repertoire of people that we know from the gaming community, and just in general on Web3, they're all looking for games to play that are fun. What kind of content are you looking for? Is it the stuff people think, like the reaction style, or what are you guys looking for?
Honestly, anything and everything. My game is based off of having fun. You know, it's less farming, it's more action, having fun. So honestly, if you like anything, and like if you want to create a product review, if you just want to stream gameplay, we're really proud of the work that we did. I think we've got the next gen tools, we've got great assets to use in the game. So, you know, I love how it looks. Really, like any clips of any gameplay out there is good for us, because I think the product speaks for itself. So honestly, any kind of content that you cut from our game, I'd love to see.
Are there any platforms that specifically that you're interested in targeting? Is it mainly Twitter? Are you trying to focus on the Web3 audience, or are you looking to bounce into TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Twitch?
I mean, only a smart businessman would say yes to everything. But I would say Twitter, honestly, is our base, because we're crypto, we're Web3. Sure. But we're also active on Instagram, Facebook. You know, we've got our social media bases covered. But what I'd say is mass adoption is only going to happen when you're able to onboard people that are clueless as to how wallets work, as to how crypto works. You know, that's on the horizon. Elysium has an onboarding method for people who don't know much crypto to be able to get a wallet, get themselves on there. And for us too, before we even got onto VeChain, Elysium, when we were on VeChain, we had our own onboarding thing where we used first Magic, and then we used our own thing with email, where you just got an automatic VeChain wallet. Now we have the same thing with Elysium. So a really smooth on-ramp for any gamer. We really want to target gamers. The whole thing is to make something fun, that's exciting, expansive. And the gamers is where it's at, whether it's Web3, whether it's Web2. We want the technology to bring new experiences that maybe Web3 users are comfortable with, but if they're expansive and understandable by Web2 users, you know, that's going to be a huge plus. They're going to see the value in Web3 when they realize that it's Web3. So that's where I'm at.
Very cool. Yeah, could we look at a video of it? And you could tell us a little bit about a clip in the video and some of the gameplay. And I don't know if we can share screen with audio. Okay, I can do it from my side or from your side. And
are you talking about the main video on their website?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. I was going to say, so earlier when we were talking about the gameplay is when I was just going to stick it up there. I'm also down to do a little segment where maybe we do a bit of like a walkthrough, some commentary style reaction stuff. I'm down for that, as long as I can get to work. I can also pull it up.
In the meantime, how many man hours do you think you have into this, Lucas?
Man, I can't even begin to tell you. I'll tell you that.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I can't even begin, honestly. But I devote a lot. I mean, I'm 29 years old. I've traveled a lot in my life. I've had some fun. And the last almost 3 years of my life working for ExoWorlds, a huge majority, I mean, very little vacations, a majority of my hours in the day are doing this. I usually work all Sundays and Saturdays. So I couldn't tell you. My life is ExoWorlds. That I can tell you.
Awesome.
That's cool, though, dude. You have an infant here.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I'm gonna click play. We ready?
Okay, sorry.
Let me know if sound should work. If it does work, don't say anything. Just let it play. If it doesn't work, then holler. Okay?
Yep.
Here we go.
All systems active.
Man, this looks killer.
Thank you, man. This is months ago. This video, updated on our homepage. How many features gotta love it.
All systems active.
That was cool.
Wow, it looks great, dude. Game looks awesome. Yeah,
honestly,
definitely.
I have to give it up for where I'm at in terms of just history. I mean, 2020 is just 2020 to 24, it's just the best time to have ever made video games.
Just as far as like capacity, like what you have at your fingertips to be able to make, do you think that eventually the studios go down to a one person studio, or like two or small team studios, because they can build out way more than 25 people took before?
Yeah, absolutely. I think if the market, if there is a mature enough market for the services around the game development, because it's not just the game development, it's the website development, it's the blockchain, it's legal, it's administration, it's all of that. So if there were services that could basically pick all of that up, or platforms that could do that, I have no doubt that there will be one. I mean, you can do it today, but one person, a AAA game, just for one dev. I think that's going to be in our horizon. I heard, Sam Altman was talking about a one-person billion-dollar company. There are now billion-dollar companies within 10 people within the company. And so he's wondering, when will be the first AI-assisted company that is worth $1 billion or more that only has one human being behind? And so we can extrapolate that to games, music, and all of that. So I think it will be possible. And I'm talking AAA games too.
Yeah. Well, even what you just showed us, that's super high level, dude. It looks amazing. And this took you 3 years of man hours to develop this and kind of build this out?
Yeah. I would say 2 years. We're 2.5 right now, and 5, half a year was the NFTs and the whole thing before. So 2 years of game development. I think that we have. I mean, and we use asset packs from the store in terms of vehicles, buildings, and stuff like that. Right now, we're in a proof of, we're getting the proof of the gameplay out there. Meshes and the different cars and or the different, spaceships and guns and stuff like that. It's the mechanics that take so much to do. Once you get over that, it's just, hey, get this mesh and make a new one. Well, the bullets are going to fire the same way. Everything's going to fire the same way. So, I think that, yes, the tools are amazing now for people to create games. The assets they're super high quality too. I mean, 10 years ago, you had one level of quality for assets. Now you have photo scans, and you have, all sorts of different scans. And what's the latest Gaussian splatting? It's realistic 3-dimensional mapping. So who knows what's going to happen? But yeah, the tools are everything, and we're benefiting from that.
Wow. Very cool. Well, yeah, I don't know what's left. Is there anything we haven't covered that you think you'd like to talk about, kind of open up a little bit?
Yeah, let me think about that for a second.
I've got a question as well, but if you think of something, go ahead for sure. Okay. Yeah, so I was wondering, with the roadmap, I know as we're kind of coming to a close here, what is some things that people can look forward to in the near future, the next month or so, next 4 to 6 weeks, and then also maybe a bit further down the line that you're super excited about, and then maybe we can talk about and finish off with like how people can, as fast as possible, as little steps as possible, get involved into the ecosystem.
Perfect. So I think the biggest thing immediately is going to be our open beta. And like I said, I want that to be Q2 or at least the end of summer this year. And that's going to have spectation. So right now, only if you're in the match can you see what's going on in the match. We want to add spectators so that anybody can come check it out. And if we get that whole, we want to connect the blockchain so that you can stake on matches. We want to have the affiliate marketing so that we really blow up in terms of activity, in terms of, paid users and things like that. So I think that the open beta is going to be where we coalesce basically all of the features that we're still working on. There's still some polishing touches, so Q2, end of summer for that. And I would say that the end of the year is going to be another big one. We want to have at least the Galaxy map experience and that RTS experience more fully out. Right now, we have the Galaxy map. You can check out your neighbors. You can start thinking about what alliances you want to have. You can sort of extrapolate what resources a type of planet is going to have. But by the end of the year, we really want to have a more fledged out Galaxy map RTS experience where you're trading with others, you're potentially fighting wars, like very simple stuff, not immersive, but hey, I have a level, I have a 13 defense level because I have 2 railgun cannons and I have a, some kind of attack rating. It's more of a Pokemon battle between, interstellar Pokemon battles with resources and stuff. I'd really like for that to happen this year. And then really is just updates. I mean, the next 6 weeks, we're going to be fixing up any bugs that we see. We're going to add, last straggling animations or weapon effects that we might want to have differentiating. We have dashes and cosmetic things that we could start adding in now. But mainly just bug fixing and making things smoother. The UI, I think in the next 6 weeks, 8 weeks, we're going to see a huge UI shift, making everything simple, very easy to understand, more spacious and elegant is what I want to say. And I think that's what I got for my timeline. But we do have a roadmap. We're looking for, to open, full release in 2025, an RPG release early 2026. So we have, some big ticket items, but there's still ways away. I like proving what I'm doing step by step.
Definitely. And so for somebody who wants to hop in, is it Discord, is it Telegram? Like, where's the best way to get
Discord.
not even just involved, but gamers listening to this and they're like, bro, I'm trying to get in there. What's the first move?
Yeah, Discord. Discord is the first move. And then also get an Epic Games account. We are fully on the Epic Games store. Like my updates now, when we don't send like files over to you guys anymore. You guys just straight up go to Epic Games and it downloads automatically, it updates automatically.
Wow.
So yeah, it's I mean, such a huge platform. I can't believe I haven't mentioned this before. We just got accepted 2 weeks ago. It's a beauty. It's like even just to ship the product, it's a beauty. So get an Epic Games account and wait for us to have the open beta. But honestly, anybody listening in, if you guys want to be part of the closed beta, we still got spots that we can open up. So please shoot us a DM on Twitter or just hit someone up on our channels in Discord. General chat, really just ask anybody and they'll point you guys to the right direction. We'll get you some codes and you guys could be part of the closed beta.
Epic.
Yeah.
That's dope. Charlie, did you have any last thoughts?
No, just kudos to you, man. Like to do the initial launch of the NFT and then build during tough times. So many teams ended up exiting. And this is what the ecosystem looked as a whole. They were like, oh, this team went quiet, this team went quiet, this team went quiet. And you literally spent 2 years building it with the NFT. So kudos, man, that it looks so good, that you worked so hard. And we're here to support you in whatever way. And we wish you well. I know you guys are going to kill it.
Thank you so much. I'm humbled by that praise. I really appreciate it. We've put blood, sweat, and tears into this, and we've been hanging on and building, and we're gonna keep trying to deliver an amazing product. I want something that I can play. I want something that I can recommend to friends and have fun. And if the blockchain side of things expands the available benefits that games can give users, I'm all for it. So thank you for having me here. I appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. Do you want to shout anybody out before we close out?
Oh, absolutely. Literally everybody in my company, William, Gabriel, Alex, man, we got Douglas, we got Mateus, we got Danilo, we got Paulo, we got Mateus. I think I said that already. We got me in environment. Shout out to all of our fans, our team leaders, Apocalypse. We got so many Frosty Nug. We got so many community members that are awesome. I could literally become a rolling credit at this point. But we're so thankful to literally anybody who has interacted with us and helped us along our way. We appreciate you guys, and especially the team. They're super hardworking and they deserve all of the merit and praise they're gonna get because the game is awesome. And they literally, sometimes I see them at midnight trying to update, the build.
Wow.
So kudos to the team. Thank you guys. And thank you, Wolf Team, for having me.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that was super, super awesome. Dude, yeah. If you guys want to get in contact with the ExoWorlds, shoot them a DM on Twitter. hop in their Discord, get involved, start chatting in the room. It looks like they're like ready to interact with people. So definitely get involved. And Lucas, thanks for speaking with us. And guys, this is Wolf Web 3's podcast. I'm Cade. This is Charlie next to me. I don't know if he's this way or that way. And this has been a great podcast with ExoWorlds. So thanks again for coming, man.